how's it going? So Avengers Age of Ultron came out last week, and while I really enjoyed watching it, there was just some things about it that I didn't really like. I've already made a video about the 5 things I really loved about Age of Ultron, so if you want to know the good stuff about it, you can click on that video. I will link it in the description box down below. But right now, I want to talk about the 5 things that really bother me about this movie, and if they might have changed them, it would have made for a very, very great movie. The number one thing that kind of bothered me was the CGI in this film. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great special effects in this movie, but every now and then it was just so overdone and so fake looking that it really annoyed me. For example, the very first scene in the movie, they start in the middle of the action and the Avengers are trying to find the Hydra hideout somewhere in Sokovia where they're doing the experiments with the twins and all of that. And there's just some things that were too much. They're going through this forest running, doing impossible tricks, and it just looks silly. Even Captain America on his motorcycle, like doing all kinds of tricks and stuff, just looks like an animation thing. It doesn't look like I'm looking at the real people doing their choreography and the action. Like I said, it's not throughout the entire movie, but there are just a couple of scenes that really kind of pull you out of the story, and that's not a great thing. The second thing I wasn't really feeling was the whole Bruce Banner and Natasha relationship thing. Don't get me wrong, from the very first movie, these two, I feel like they could have had something. They don't say it explicitly, but there's like a few scenes here and there where you feel like, yeah, this could work, this could be cool. So I'm all for Bruce and Natasha, but the way that they decided to do it in this movie just feels really, really forced. It really comes off as Natasha being really pushy and really flirty with Bruce, and Bruce just kind of like not digging the idea because whatever, because he's afraid of hurting her, because he can't really have a normal relationship, whatever the reason, it just looks like she's really on it and he's just like backing away. And it's a pity because it could have been more natural, there could have been some real chemistry there, but it was just like a little bit too awkward for me. The third thing I really didn't like was Ultron. If you've seen my other video, I've mentioned Ultron as one of my favorite things, and it's true, I really love the villain per se. I just don't like how they handled Ultron versus the Avengers scenes. Ultron has a lot of potential, he's incredibly smart obviously, he knows what gets the Avengers to like go against each other, he knows how to play them. You have a potentially very interesting villain and you want to see, you know, the face-off between these two, and every time there's a scene between the Avengers and Ultron, it just kind of fizzles. It doesn't happen the way you want it to, there's no real big combat between them, and I found that very disappointing. The fourth thing that bothered me about the Avengers was the action. Again, there's some great action scenes in this movie. There's an amazing action scene between Iron Man and the Hulk. But at the same time, I feel like Joss Whedon took a lot of notes from Michael Bay for this film, and that's never a good thing. And what I mean by that is just, first of all, there's too much explosive destruction all around different parts of the world. And then whenever I have a really good battle going on, it's just so close to the action and to the faces and to whatever's happening that I don't get a lot of movement. I feel very confused as to what's happening, and I just wish he would have backed off a little bit and just gotten a bigger scope of what was going on. It was just a little bit to follow here and there, and I just wish he would have given me more room to appreciate everything that was going on. On top of that, the pace of the action scenes are really weird. Because you have so many people fighting different enemies, it's hard to keep track of all of them at the same time. But there were moments where, I don't know, we were watching Iron Man do something for 20 minutes, and then it was like, where is the Hulk? I feel like I haven't seen him in forever. And it's true, he hasn't been on screen in at least 15 minutes. And if it's not that, we're focusing too much on the twins, and Iron Man is trying to do something with this rock, and you don't remember what he was doing because it's been so long since you've seen him, you can't keep track of it. So they divided the time between the Avengers very strangely. It just felt a little bit messy for me, and I don't know, it didn't feel as balanced as I was hoping it would. The fifth, and for me, the most important thing I really didn't like about this movie is the fact that I feel like it was wrongly advertised. Because of the teasers and the trailers, I feel like the movie was advertised as this very dark movie. I mean, guys, it's called The Age of Ultron. The Age of Ultron. It's not called The Week of Ultron. I'm expecting a huge turning point happening in this movie. I'm expecting dark moments happening. I'm expecting a new era of technology and metal and robots taking over the Earth. And that was not the case. I was really hoping to see the weaknesses of the Avengers and what could make them crack. And in the beginning of the movie, this is set up really well. Tony Stark has a vision of the future and everybody's sort of dying because of him. and how the destruction of the world is really in his hands, and that's like a really interesting prophecy. I'm hoping they're going to carry that throughout the movie, but it doesn't play in as much as I wanted it. And while this vision really does influence his actions, and you can tell it's going to carry on to the rest of the movies, this movie wasn't nearly as dark as they said it would be. It just really ends up being another save the day for the superheroes kind of film, and, you know, a really cute happy ending kind of deal. I just feel like the second installment of a franchise is almost always the strongest one. If you think about the Dark Knight trilogy, if you think about Lord of the Rings, and while I feel like this movie is much better than the first one, it just didn't have that oomph, you know, it felt more of the same as opposed to something that would really turn me and bring something really new to this story.
So guys, those are the things that I really didn't enjoy so much about the Avengers. I'm sorry about this weird outro. I totally forgot to film it. But you guys know the deal. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, give this video a like, and I'll be hoping to see you in my weekly videos. Don't forget to check out this video right here. It is the Whisper Challenge with my best friend Evelise. I guarantee that you will laugh, you'll have some good times. We make complete fools out of each other. But until next time, I hope you have a great week, and I will see you on our next movie date. Bye!